Hi, my name is Kenneth Hughes. This is my video submission for Organizational Science 415. I am 23 years old. I'm from Boise, Idaho, and this is my first semester back at the University of Idaho after about a 2.5 year sort of hiatus down in Boise. I came to the University of Idaho right out of high school back in 2009, spent 2.5 years studying architecture. Decided that wasn't exactly what was making me happy, what I wanted to do, or really the direction I wanted to go with my life. So I left school, moved back down to Boise, and just took a little time to sort of reevaluate where I was at and what I wanted to do. Originally, when I came to the University of Idaho, I got involved in the Greek system and joined Beta Theta Pi fraternity. While I was doing that, I took a number of positions in the house. Mainly the one that pertains to this, I was the social chairman, which meant I was in charge of planning all of the parties and events that we'd had. We had a number of parties, themed parties, pretty big parties sometimes. I mean, sometimes it got into the 700 numbers. We had quite a few people showing up, and they were pretty big sort of events. We also had another thing called raft trip, or cruise was another one where everyone in the house would get a date, and we'd collaborate with other fraternities. And for example, on a cruise, we'd get everyone together and go up to Coeur d'Alene, and we'd rent a cruise ship that they had. They got kind of boats that cruise the lake, party barge kind of things. And so we'd go out all night and kind of tour the lake. We also do camping trips such as Spring Fling, which is a big event. I probably learned the most from Spring Fling about event planning when I forgot to bring any cups for everyone. We had probably about 200 people there, and we were in the middle of nowhere, about 200 miles out, and I showed up, and everyone was so excited when I showed up. And then they found out that I didn't bring the cups, because that's really why they were excited in the first place. And they were very disappointed, needless to say, that I had overlooked that one small detail while planning that event. And so nobody had cups, and everyone had to improvise all weekend, which was actually kind of funny. While I was down in Boise, as I said, I worked in a restaurant called the West Side Drive-In, a small local diner owned by Chef Lou Aaron, who before, or in the early years of him owning that restaurant, ran a catering business that I never got to get involved in, sadly, because I thought that that would be really interesting. I'd already dipped my toes in what was event planning, and I feel that catering is directly involved in an event. Oftentimes it's not the main focus of an event, or a caterer typically doesn't plan the whole event, but nonetheless they are involved, and I wish I could have spent more time doing something like that while I was in Boise. But nonetheless, I worked as a cook and a kitchen manager and got a lot of useful experience that way. Why am I taking this course? When I finally decided to come back to the University of Idaho, it didn't look like it was going to happen. I didn't have everything in order, and I was just really kind of behind on a lot of things. It just really looked like, for any number of reasons, that I wasn't going to be making it up here. However, I finally did realize that I was going to be coming to school this semester, and that left me to register for class about 5 days before school started. So frantically, I'm looking online trying to find classes, and I get a recommendation from an advisor, of whom I've told some of my interests and some of my history, doing the event planning kind of stuff for Beta. And they recommended maybe I should try this if it's something I enjoy. And I thought that was a great idea, so I ran with it. And that's what brought me here. Like I said, since about 2010, I guess, I've had kind of a nagging interest in event planning. It's something that I've always been interested in, but never thought was really a reality as a profession, until I started learning more about what it is really, I guess, and that we actually have classes like this. Also, my interest in design, as I think I said before earlier, I studied architecture for 2.5 years, and my favorite part about architecture was the conceptual designing kind of stuff. Really just kind of getting to use your imagination and creativity to design a particular thing to, fit in whatever environment it was. So between that and event planning, I see a lot of similars in the sense that in event planning, you're almost kind of designing an event. You're kind of orchestrating all the pieces and making sure things fall into place as they should, and just the whole overall process of planning an event. I see a lot of similarities between that and what I did in architecture, which I enjoyed most. So I thought that was all very interesting, and that's kind of what brought me to this course. As far as what I would like to learn this semester, I guess first and foremost is what goes into a profession of event planning. Like how much work, I guess, goes into it. I'd imagine it's quite a bit. From my experience, I had to put a lot more time into it than I thought I would. And those were just small events for a fraternity. Nothing like a huge, conference or anything like that. Which I guess brings us to my next point: is what kind of events do professional event planners do? I feel like there's the obvious, such as kind of concerts maybe, and music festivals, or even different kind of professional conferences, or maybe even, I don't know, event or wedding planning. I mean, I just really don't know exactly what goes into it, or what kind of professions there are. So that's another thing I'd be interested in. And finally, what kind of opportunities really are there? What kind of demand is there for a professional event planner? Again, that relates back to the second part. I don't know exactly what the scope of an event planner is, as far as the sort of events they put on. So I would imagine there's a lot of opportunities out there, but I really don't know. So yeah, all that considered, I'm Kenny Hughes, and I'm looking forward to this semester.